Let's talk about reproduction. I know it's everybody's favorite topic because plant reproduction is super important because that's how nurseries make money, but that's also how you can get more plants from your plants. So all plants are capable of reproducing, but some of them do it a lot differently than others. Let's walk through the different ways that you can propagate or replicate or reproduce plants. The first type of reproduction we'll talk about is sexual reproduction, and that is when plants actually produce seeds. It's similar to the process of human reproduction in that regard, but these seeds are the children in this case. So if you have plants such as vegetables are really common, or even some houseplants, they will sometimes produce seeds, and you can propagate by planting those seeds. So next, let's talk about asexual reproduction, or in this case, we're going to talk about vegetative cuttings. So that's one of the ways that you can reproduce plants is by taking cuttings. And this works for some plants, but not all plants. These two plants are ones that take very easily from cuttings. This is a plectranthus, and this is a tradescantia, also something like a pothos. You can actually just snip off bits that are about 4 to 6 inches long, stick them in water, stick them in soil, water them, and then they will grow entire new plants from a cutting. Now, people start talking about cuttings, and then they think that they can take cuttings of everything, but not everything is going to be able to grow from a cutting. Take, for example, this elephant ear. You can't just cut a leaf off and stick it in water and expect it to grow a new plant because it won't. Elephant ears are propagated through corms or through bulbs. So if you were to take this out of the pot and look, you might find some new little bulbs forming that are called corms, and those are ways that you could then take those away from the mother plant, plant them, and grow an entire new plant that way. Now, moments ago, I showed you Tradescantia and Plectranthus, which grow from stem cuttings, and that's different than something like a Monstera here, where if you're going to propagate this, which you can, you have to make sure that you get a node planted in the ground. So you could take this Monstera, and you could cut it off here, you could cut it off here, and these nodes are where the leaf meets the stem, and that's where all of the life is going to be, and so the genetic ability to create roots or leaves happens in the node. So if you're going to propagate a Monstera in what would be called a chop and prop, you're going to have to cut it and leave at least one node to plant in soil or leca or something like that so that you can propagate this plant. Because once again, if you were just to cut off a leaf and drop the stem in the water or in soil, it will not grow. And then you have plants that create offshoots, like the spider plant, or some people call them an airplane plant. This actually will put out these shoots, which will form an entire new plant, which you could clip off and then put it into soil, and it will grow an entire plant from this little offshoot. So yeah, that's just some of the ways that you can propagate plants and that they reproduce. And it's a really fun thing to try. So any type of plant you are raising, you can look up instructions for that specific plant of how to propagate it and then find the best techniques for multiplying your plants.